The Ladakh Students Association have written to the Ministry of Home Affairs in the wake of the violent protest of September 24th, in which more than 50 people were detained. The students are seeking a judicial probe under the supervision of a sitting High Court judge into the incident of 24th September, in which 4 people were killed and scores were injured. The other demands include compensation for those injured in the violence and release of Ladakhi youth arrested during protests. The lay apex body and the Kargil Democratic Alliance have called off the proposed talks with the Ministry of Home Affairs in Delhi. A day after LAB walked away from the talks, KDA co-chairman Asghar Ali Karbalai announced that his group would also stay away from the conversation. The unrest stems from a shutdown in Leh that spiraled into clashes on September 24th, in which security forces opened fire on demonstrations, demanding statehood and 6 scheduled safeguards. Activist Sonam Wangchuk was detained under the stringent National Security Act on charges of provoking unrest and maintaining links with foreign entities. Both the Leh apex body and the Kargil Democratic Alliance have pulled out of the talks. Both bodies insist that dialogue cannot resume until 2 key demands are met: constitution of a judicial investigation panel into the police firing and the unconditional release of all activists, including Wangchuk. Now let us understand the underlying reasons that triggered the standoff with the government that led to violence in Leh. The bifurcation of J&K created 2 union territories, J&K with a legislature and Ladakh without one, placing Ladakh directly under central administration. Since then, demand have grown for Ladakh's inclusion under the 6th schedule. So what do these demonstrators want? Statehood for Ladakh with legislature, inclusion under 6th schedule for constitutional safeguards, separate public service commission for Ladakh, 2 separate Lok Sabha seats, Leh and Kargil districts. Gitanjali Angmo, wife of Sonam Wangchuk, lashed out at the security forces for the situation in Ladakh. She defended her husband's hunger strike, saying he was being made a scapegoat to weaken his movement in the state. Let me play out her bite.
सोनम वांगचुक सिर्फ एक साइंटिस्ट नहीं है, वो एक युवा पीढ़ी के इंस्पिरेशन भी हैं। उनको लोग सिर्फ ऐसे ही नहीं प्यार करते या इज्जत करते क्योंकि वो सिर्फ एक साइंटिस्ट हैं। साइंटिस्ट होने के साथ साथ वो ह्यूमैनिटेरियन हैं टू स्टार्ट विद। उनको लोगों के दर्द का पता होता है। उन्होंने अपना करियर, जो कि वो फॉरेन में जाके भी रह सकते थे, बचपन में ही उसको इंजीनियरिंग से कन्वर्ट करके एजुकेशन में वो आए क्योंकि उनको युवा पीढ़ी की दर्द थी। उन्होंने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी ग्रास रूट लेवल में एजुकेशन पे काम करने में बिताई। जिस इंसान का लाइफ का मकसद ही हो कि वो युवा पीढ़ी को आगे ले जाए, इंस्पायर करे, वो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ऐसे वायलेंट प्रोटेस्ट क्यों करवाएगा और उस पर ये क्यों दोष दिया जा रहा है? आज तक तो ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ था। अगर सीआरपीएफ ने उस दिन टीयर गैस नहीं चलाई होती और ये सिचुएशन एस्केलेट नहीं हुई होती तो ये कभी भी वायलेंस नहीं हो सकता था। तो इसीलिए ये बहुत एक दुर्घटना, मतलब इतनी ये सैड है ये सिचुएशन।
देखिए, प्रशासन की इनके साथ बात होती है तो मैं ये भी कहता हूं कि कुछ जो आज चल रहा है वो टेबल पर बैठ करके ही बातचीत हो सकती है। तो वातावरण उस प्रकार से बनेगा, आपस में बातचीत करेंगे। यहाँ के जो प्रशासन है लोगों के हितों के लिए खड़ा है, इसमें उनको ये विश्वास होना चाहिए। आने वाले समय में नौजवानों के जो ख्वाहिश है या उनके साथ भी हम बैठेंगे। पहले भी लगातार जब 2.5 महीने से मैं यहाँ हूँ, किसी को मैंने आज तक नहीं मना किया मिलने के लिए। उनकी बात सुनते हैं, उसमें से हल निकलते हैं।
On this, right now I am joined by Savio Rodriguez, founder and editor-in-chief, Goa Chronicle. Savio, now the man is under the custody. The bodies have come out of the talk. Your assessment of the situation, do you think that this standoff is going to continue, and does it really help India with this sort of stand-up in Ladakh?
No, of course it doesn't help India at all, Kartikeya, because we have to understand that every part of India is a very integral part of the body of India. So if Ladakh is going through a little bit of conflict, crisis or uncertainty, it's going to impact the whole of India. Of course, right now, there are certain demands that the people of Ladakh are making need to be understood, and on the basis of that, it needs to be put into an action plan, which has to be worked out with the government itself at the center. Now, what happens sometimes, like if you look at the Manipur conflict also, you have one community, which is the Kuki community, wanting for a separate, for a separation. They want a separate autonomy. They're also looking at a separate state, in some of their discussions. Now, if we go about doing that with every single one of them, then you're going to have India broken down into very, very small parts. And I think those are matters of deliberation, those are matters of numbers, and those are matter of collective decisions between people at a local level and people at the center. Now, the concern with Ladakh, let's actually understand what the concern in Ladakh is. When they did get bifurcated into a union territory, I don't remember any part of the center ever talking about making them another state. If at all that discussion of statehood was put forward, it was mostly with J&K and not so much Ladakh. Because Ladakh, you have to understand, Ladakh has a very little population. And that population, if it can be managed under a union territory, which allows for them to get all the benefits that they can as far as socio-economic development is concerned, infrastructure development is concerned, jobs and placements for the youth that are concerned, then it makes absolute vital sense. Because eventually, at the end of the day, it is the people of Ladakh, along with the center, that has to work with the future of the people of Ladakh. Because they are also, they are definitely an integral part.
Absolutely.
So I think the standoff is purely, it's a play of people's demands versus what the center can bring onto the table. I believe if all parties understand the concerns of each and every one of them and the nuances, I think the first step should be the sixth schedule in a manner in which benefits everyone. But even on the ground in Ladakh, people would have a concern with the sixth schedule, and why should you bring that into play, right?
Right.
But the larger thing, Karthikeya, I think the people of Ladakh must understand that when they became a union territory to when they were a state, they saw far more better outreach by with the center than they would with the state. Now they need to take that forward in a decisive manner, collectively and cohesively working with the center. It cannot be divisive from the center.
Absolutely. On this issue, I am joined by Wangchuk Stobden, founding president of Ladakh International Center and a former diplomat. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me. And I am also joined by Nasir Khurami, national convener, Jammu and Kashmir Ladakh Students Association. Nasir, am I audible?
Right, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Nasir, my question to you is very straight and simple. Why has the student body withdrawn? Why isn't talking to the government?
See, as you know, sir, that this standoff between Ladakh and center has been going on from past 6 years since abrogation of Article 370, when state was Jammu Kashmir was bifurcated and it was divided into two union territories, one in Jammu Kashmir and another in Ladakh. But it has been almost 6 years since Ladakh has been demanding that it should be given separate. Yes, it should be given, status of statehood. Apart from that, there are multiple other demands which include sixth schedule, state, these job rights, land rights. And apart from that, Ladakh has been demanding, people of Ladakh, especially student fraternity, has been demanding that, लद्दाख के लिए जो है एक सेपरेट जो है पीएससी हो, जिस तरह जम्मू कश्मीर में हमारा अलग तरीके का एक पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन होता है। इसके साथ साथ हम डिमांड करते हैं कि जो रिक्रूटमेंट प्रोसेस है
बिना बात किए बात कैसे होगी? नासिर, माय क्वेश्चन इज वेरी सिंपल, बात नहीं करेंगे तो बात बनेगी कैसे?
जाहिर सी बात है, जो लद्दाख के लोगों ने तो ये प्रोसेस पिछले 6 साल से जो है शुरू किया हुआ है। उन्होंने तो कभी तक आज तक तो बाइकआउट तो नहीं किया है। सेंटर ने जो इनविटेशन भेजा है जिसमें जो है टॉक्स के लिए बुलाया गया है, लेकिन बदकिस्मती की तरफ से वो उन टॉक्स में से हमें निकला क्या है? आज तक 6 साल से जो बातें हो रही है, जो टॉक्स हो रहे हैं, जो इश्यूज लद्दाख के लोग, लद्दाख की स्टूडेंट फ्रेटर्निटी, लद्दाख की एपेक्स बॉडी, करगिल के लोग जो बात कर रहे हैं सेंटर से, जो डिमांड कर रहे हैं 6 शेड्यूल की, जो डिमांड कर रहे हैं कि लद्दाख को जो है स्टेटहुड दिया जाए, लद्दाख को जो है रिक्रूटमेंट प्रोसेस हो, जो लद्दाख में जो है 6 सर्विस जो पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन उसकी बात हो, लद्दाख में जो है जम्मू कश्मीर की तर्ज पे जो सब इंस्पेक्टर का जो रिक्रूटमेंट प्रोसेस है उसकी वो लगातार 6 साल से डिमांड कर रहे हैं। हम डिमांड कर रहे हैं कि गेजेटेड पोस्ट हो, लेकिन 6 साल से आप देखें कि
ठीक है नासिर, you made your point. Nasir, you made your point. I'm also joined by Mohammed Hasnain Rocky. Thank you so much. I'll come to you, but let me go to Mr. Stobden. Mr. Stobden, why this stalemate has taken place? One, and can this stalemate be resolved, sir?
I think the whole issue has been misrepresented. You know, the people of Ladakh does not have a political issue. It doesn't have a political cause like you have a Azadi in Kashmir or Khalistani in Pakistan, in Punjab. They simply have a small administrative demand. You know, so there is a there is a difference between what the whole media in the country is trying to say something and what really is there on the ground. My own understanding of the situation is that the agitation or whatever it was very peaceful. And I relate this incident on the 24th, and I was expecting it because I'm a China analyst. I'm a border analyst, and I'm an observer of Indian national security affairs. And I think this whole thing is about, you know, creating problem between India and China, which, you know, after Prime Minister Modi visited to Tianjin, the entire border area has been put on fire now. I don't know who is the enemy of India or China, whether it is Nepal or Ladakh. And then it is expected, you know, every time this kind of a, you know, close relationship or the thaw between India and China has been sabotaged or derailed. So I think somebody has conveniently hijacked this agitation, rather very peaceful agitation, with a larger global cause. And it's very much visible. I am right now in Leh, and I knew this. There are a lot of elements here. Now you just talked about Kukis and the Manipuris and the Nagas and the Nepalese and the Tibetans and all these things. A large number here now who are not accountable to anything. You know, it's a loose country. You're not serious about your own security. You know, in the name of democracy, you do everything. So I don't blame any agitator. Mr. Sonam Wangchuk may have some theatrical way of putting up this agitation. But I think on the whole, Ladakhis are not like that. They are well integrated with the nation. They have some issues.
You have made a very powerful point. I mean to say, I would like to take my conversation on those lines. You are saying that someone is trying to sabotage the conversation that is taking place between India and China. And the second takeaway is that you are saying that there is a foreign entity involved in what has happened.
Yes.
Yes, if you look back in the last 3 months, how many foreigners have come here? Who are the people who were stationed in Leh in the last 2 months or 3 months? You know, what did they do? I mean, people are not covering because they don't have a strategic perspective. They have a local law and order perspective. Now, if you look at from the local law and order perspective, you only see small things, you know, but I look at from a larger perspective and I see there is a, you know, there is a picture. There is a big picture here. And I don't rule out, and I've seen in Nepal how now people are trying to analyze who has put fire in Nepal, for what purposes. And so that's my understanding. I can give you so many things, and there are international dimension, of course. There are external dimension which cannot be elaborated on television. You know, I come from a security background.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. I'll take your observation to Mohammad Hassan and Rocky. Mr. Stopdan has made a very important point. I mean, so there is a protest, but there's a larger element which he's talking about, which is geostrategic importance of Ladakh, people trying to take over a civic protest, and elements and entities not wanting relationship between two big neighbors to normalize. Mr. Hasnan.
Yes, sir. ये बताइए.
आपको नहीं लगता कि विदेशी ताकतें खेल कर रही हैं लद्दाख में?
सर, पहले चीज तो ये है कि ऐसे यूथ, ऐसे स्टूडेंट, सबसे 5 अगस्त के बाद जो लद्दाख में सबसे जो सफर किया है वो लद्दाख के स्टूडेंट फ्रेटर्निटी ने किया है, क्योंकि पिछले 6 साल से हम सेंटर के बहुत सारे मिनिस्टर से हो, हमारे यूटी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से हो, हमारे जो लोकल एमपीज पहले वाले रहे हो या अभी वाले रहे हो, हमारा डिमांड रहा है सर कि लद्दाख को पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन दिया जाए, और पिछले 6 साल से अभी तक एक भी गेजेटेड पोस्ट का रिक्रूटमेंट नहीं हुआ है। और दूसरे उसके साथ साथ 2018 में लास्ट टाइम सब इंस्पेक्टर का जो जेडके के साथ है उस वक्त रिक्रूटमेंट हुआ था सर, उसके बाद सब इंस्पेक्टर का भी रिक्रूटमेंट नहीं हुआ है। तो बहुत सालों से जो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट का रेट है सर इंडिया में इतना बढ़ गया है कि 26% से
बात
भी
क्यों नहीं
ज्यादा।
कर रहे हैं आप लोग? बात क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं? बात करनी चाहिए, आप लोग बात भी नहीं कर रहे हैं।
हम तो पिछले 6 साल से डिमांड कर रहे हैं, बात कर रहे हैं सर। स्टूडेंट फेडरेशन हमेशा, मैं खुद भी लास्ट 2-3 साल से मैं खुद भी काफी सेंटर के मिनिस्टरों के साथ मिला। हमारे
तो अभी क्यों नहीं
former
बात कर रहे हैं
education
स्टूडेंट्स?
में-
अभी क्यों नहीं बात कर रहे हैं?
सर स्टूडेंट्स की आवाज सुननी भी चाहिए ना। हम तो कब से बात कर रहे हैं मगर हमारी आवाज कोई नहीं सुन रहा
नहीं,
है।
अब बात कर
Even
लीजिए।
कि हम
अभी क्यों नहीं बात कर रहे हैं? जब कह
सर,
रहा है
अभी तो
सेंटर बात
देखिए-
करो तो आप कह रहे हो बात नहीं करेंगे। अभी बात
कर रहे,
कीजिए।
पिछले 6 साल से तो बात ही कर रहे हैं सर, मगर अभी तक वो जो पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन का मसला ही हल नहीं हुआ है सर।
तो मतलब जब तक ये मसला हल नहीं होगा तो बात नहीं करेंगे, तो बात नहीं करेंगे तो मसला हल कैसे होगा रॉकी भाई?
बात तो कर रहे थे ना सर, पिछले 6 साल से कर रहे, यूथ खुद आके कर रहे।
बिना
यूथ भी
बातचीत को क्या हल हो जाएगा? ना सिर्फ बिना बात
तो
के
कर
बात
रहे हैं,
बन
मगर
जाएगी,
उसका कोई हल
बात
ही
तो
नहीं
करनी
निकल
पड़ेगी
रहा
ना।
है पिछले-
देखिए बात तो करनी पड़ेगी, केंद्र से तो बात करनी पड़ेगी ना आपको।
लेकिन हमें देखना है कि
बातों का
बात
हल
का
ही नहीं
आउटकम
निकल
क्या
रहा है।
निकल रहा है। लगातार जो डिमांड पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन की हो रही है, लगातार हम रिक्रूटमेंट
नासिर, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि बात बनाने की कोशिश नहीं की जा रही है। मुझको ऐसा लग रहा है बात बिगाड़ने की कोशिश की जा रही है, क्योंकि हिंदी में कहते हैं बात से बात बनती है, पर बात से बात बिगड़ती नहीं है। आप तो बात से बात बिगाड़ रहे हैं। बात से बात बननी चाहिए, आपको बात करनी चाहिए। आप लोग बात क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं?
हम सर गांधीवादी लोग हैं, हम डेलिब्रेशंस पे बिलीव करते हैं।
ये रिटोरिकल बात है। अगर आप गांधीवादी लोग हैं तो बात करेंगे। गांधी जी ने तो हमेशा बात की। गांधी जी ने तो अंग्रेजों से बात की।
करगिल में कहा था इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज।
ओके, नहीं, आपने गांधी का नाम ले लिया। आजकल लोग गांधी जी का नाम बड़े आसानी से ले लेते हैं कि गांधी जी ने बात की। अरे गांधी जी तो सबसे बात करते थे, आप तो अपनी सरकार से बात नहीं कर रहे हैं।
We are not hurling stones. We have been engaging with the
क्यों नहीं बात कर रहे आप लोग अपनी सरकार से?
It has been almost 5 years.
आप क्यों नहीं बात कर रहे अपनी सरकार से?
आज बहुत सारे यूथ हमारे फ्रस्ट्रेशन
नहीं,
का शिकार हो चुके हैं।
अगर आप बात नहीं करेंगे तो बात हल कैसे होगी? आप बात नहीं करना चाह रहे, आपको लगता है कि प्रेशर टैक्टिक से बात सुलझ जाएगी? आपको दोनों को लगता है प्रेशर टैक्टिक से बात सुलझ जाएगी? छोड़िए Savio, you know, I think I'm getting a basic drift of the things right now. I think they're slightly underestimating the government of the day. I personally feel as a journalist, I think they're slightly underestimating the man in charge of the internal security. I mean, the rest can be debatable, and I don't disagree with certain issues these gentlemen have raised. I understand it, because before they came, you were saying the same thing. The aspiration of the local Ladakhi must be met. But the point which Mr. Stobden made is far more important.
Precisely,
It's far more important because it has to do with the integrity of the state.
The entire conversation that we are having right now, the elderly gentleman, Mr. Sobden, has actually nailed the problem on its head.
Absolutely.
You cannot look at this problem on one layer. There are multiple layers in which this problem or the conflict in Ladakh is moving around. There is the problem of the students. There is the problem of the people of Ladakh. There is the international interference that happened in Ladakh. Mr. Sobden is right when he said that there were people from other states and even foreigners in Ladakh. That's what the investigative agencies are now looking into it. So it is a multi-pronged concern. But what needs to be addressed at this point of time is, like these two young gentlemen are saying, they have certain concerns, but their rhetoric is always, we spoke for 6 years, we spoke for 6 years. उसके बाद क्या बात करना बंद करोगे? क्या लड़ाई करोगे आप लोग?
कब बंद किए सर?
आप तो बात करो ना। गवर्नमेंट आपसे बात करने के लिए चाहता है, लेकिन आप करना नहीं चाहते हैं। आप बोल रहे हैं
उनको एडमिशन नहीं मिल रहा है।
क्यों
बात तो हम 6 साल से कर रहे हैं।
बात करो,
आज हमें
कहीं ना कहीं बाहर आ जाएगा।
No, absolutely. बात तो करनी पड़ेगी, बात करनी चाहिए। Mr. Stobden, you made absolutely, I completely agree with you.
हम बात और अमन पसंद लोग
आप
हैं।
छोड़ो यार, छोड़ो। अगर आगे बढ़ना है, बात करके आगे बढ़ो। Why will
Sir,
someone
Mr. Sobin, what is your internal assessment as to why these student bodies have come out of the conversation? Do you think other people are pulling the string?
I don't think it's about talking to the government or not talking to the government. That's not the issue. I think sincerely, I feel the government has delayed the process of recruitment. There is no mechanism to recruit people. Now, when you see at the national level, you have UPSC board.
सर mechanism नहीं है तो हम
No, please don't disturb him. Don't disturb him. Please mute him.
Sir,
Don't disturb Mr. Sobin. Please mute him.
Yeah.
Satish,
Then
please mute him.
In the past, Jammu and Kashmir used to have its own JK selection board or whatever it was. And now, since last 6 years, since the UT has come into being, it has been detached from J&K selection board. Government has not created its own board, which is a statutory board. You can't create, if I want to be a member of the board, I cannot. You have a statutory rules, the MHA gives the nod, and then you have the board. So what has happened is there are 5,000 candidates applying for jobs. Through the selection process, you select only 50 and 4,050 candidates then will not qualify, will do their own work. They become businessmen, they become something else. But here in this case, everybody is just waiting to become a police officer or aspiration has gone. So you have to have a mechanism where in UPSC everybody is not selected. Maybe 700
Mr. Sobin,
people
sorry,
are
I'm
selected.
interrupting your thought, but you made one important point. You said a lot of people from outside are in Ladakh, Why did you say that? Are you saying that a lot of people from other states created and fomented problem in Ladakh?
No, there is an attempt to make Ladakh another Northeast. Now,
Yes.
when you
I
say
agree
Yes.
when you want to make Ladakh a Northeast, it comes with certain tag. What is Northeast famous for? It's famous for insurgency. It's famous for so many things. So I'm giving a theoretical kind of a thing. For example, I don't know whether I told you in my previous comment the last week when you took an interview with me or somebody is taken in the media, I elaborated this. Ladakhis are not, they're not like that. It's been orchestrated, and I don't think Ladakhis are involved in this. Somebody is really
Pakistan? Pakistan?
doing some kind of a conspiracy here.
Pakistan?
No, I won't name it, but who is interested in evangelist activities like you have in Northeast? I mean, I cannot elaborate this.
It's a deep state.
Why would I would
I'm
like to?
saying it.
Why would I?
Okay, Savio wants to say something. Yeah, okay, you made a point. Savio.
I'm telling you, Ladakh is a deep state playbook. They are taking the problems of the youth, which are genuine problems, which they did in Bangladesh, they did it in Nepal, they did it in Sri Lanka, and these youths don't understand what they've been playing off, which is why I'm saying the government first needs to calm down on the demands of the youth, because the youth are what they are going to use to agitate. So I see that the government needs to say, okay, the youth have got a problem. They want to get jobs. They want to have government employment. Find a mechanism to get that answered. Otherwise, this situation with many foreign players coming into the game,
Yes.
the deep state is nothing but the US. Let's be clear on that. US economic interests in that area. And Mr. Sobin cannot say it, but I can say it. It's an absolute clear-cut Northeast
But I
model
think
that
US
they
is
want to bring
mistaken,
into
Savio. I'm sorry, with full respect, we are not Nepal. With full respect, we are not Sri Lanka. With full respect,
No,
we are
we're
not
not.
Myanmar. With full respect, we are not Pakistan. With
And
full
that's what
respect, we are not Bangladesh. We are Bharat.
That is one thing you need to understand.
We are Bharat.
That your demands with the government can only be achieved through dialogue.
Absolutely.
If you're finding stress in that dialogue,
I respect the sentiments
right?
of the kids, but they need to talk to the government of the day, because that's the way forward in a democratic India. Thank you all of you for joining me on this debate. This is all I have tonight. I'll join you tomorrow at the same time. Good night.
fish disappear. Moon Dad.
Smooth, silent, seamless. Sliding systems from headache.
ये वाला तो गुगली है,
वो वाला
ये वाला तो सिक्सर है।
कौन सा फ्लेवर बिजनेस बढ़ाएगा? ये खूबसूरत चिंता आप करिए। बिजनेस लोन की चिंता